and I just want to give a little bit more time for people to get in and get settled because what I'm going to talk to you tonight about is critical thinking. Critical thinking. And you know, it's a song that I just played after our intro music. I played that for a very strategic reason. If you listen to the lyrics of the song, you know, talking about Bout It, by Master P. What can you learn from what he said? You see, everything he said was about survival, okay? Survival in these streets. Now, tonight's topic is a great topic, and we can really relate to it in the black community. Everyone in the struggle can relate. So tonight we're talking about a lack of critical thinking focused on survival results in death by 1,000 cuts. Now, I chose this. I was watching a documentary. I spent some time on YouTube analyzing different people and what they talk about, right? And what I noticed is people who get the most hits, besides Dr. Umar and Dr. Boyce Watkins, those probably the main two, and maybe a couple more like Pastor Dow over there in Tennessee. Outside of those three, and maybe, okay, I got to mention the Black Channel, Jason Black. But outside, and Professor of Truth, that's about 5, right? So besides those guys right there, people are really talking about real trivial stuff. And they get a lot of hits on that, right? So that pretty much shows us where our society is, okay? So tonight, talking about critical thinking, and I got some information I want to share you guys with tonight on critical thinking. And I was at a flea market selling some old stuff. They're getting rid of a lot of stuff I had. I think it was me and Edwin. Shout out to Edwin. We was at a flea market. It was almost over with, right? And at the end of that flea market, we met this brother. Brother had been in the prison for like, I don't know, 25, 30 years or something like that. He went to prison for self-defense. He killed somebody to save his own life, right? And he's a very conscious brother. Brother, he gave me this information. Brother was a real powerful brother, and he talked about a lot of helping the youth and whatnot, like some of us out there are doing. Shout out to Brother Daydon. He helping brothers in the community. Brother Darius Young, campaigning out here on the streets. Brother CJ out here every day doing it, and a few other brothers out here doing it. This particular brother talked about critical thinking. And he was talking to me and Edwin about this, and he said something about many times in life, well, most people in life, especially our people, we were taught what to think, and, you know, that really dawned on me. He said, but we weren't taught how to think. Some may say we taught how to think too, but what he meant by how to think, we're not being taught to create the processes involved in making a good judgment on what we're getting ready to do. Basically, decision making, critical thinking based on why do you feel the way you feel, and basically, a lot of people in our community, and we talk about being awakened, right? A lot of people are just adapting the thought process of others. See, they're not really in alignment. They're not really in alignment with the right individuals. So what they do is the person who talks the best, who speaks well, who has the most clout, who has the most, I guess, best reputation. It could be a local leadership, could be a mayor, could be a congressperson. It doesn't matter. People tend to follow people with some type of established voice, so to speak. So when I say this, a lot of people will just adapt and move with conformity of those who seemingly have the power. We talk about critical thinking. I've never really moved like that. I'm looking back at my childhood until now, so I use me as an example. I don't want to put anybody out there, but I'll put myself out there. I never really moved like that. I never really was good at conforming with people. In life, I don't know, things just had to make sense to me. So if somebody could explain it to me, I could roll with it. But when I'm talking about our community tonight, I'm talking about a lack of critical thinking focused on survival results in death by 1,000 cuts. And I use 1,000 cuts because you study the wolf pack, all right? The wolf pack. The wolf pack takes down much bigger prey than itself. Alone, the wolf take down a bison, it wouldn't happen, right? But what they do is they can outlast most any predator. They have stamina. And my friends will tell you all the time, I'm long-winded. I am. But I'm highly intelligent as well. So I don't consider myself to be the physically strongest person in the world. But I do consider myself to be very, very, very intelligent. And it's not about being book smart. It's about what you take with your examples in your life, in your experience, things you learn from others, and things you experience yourself personally with an open mind. And this is what we have a problem doing. That's why I say critical thinking is very, very key to our survival. There's a lot of people in the community, they spend so much time researching stuff to be right, to be educated, but yet if you're researching all these different things, right, you have so much courage to come back and get into debates with people, all right? It could be Facebook, it could be Twitter, it could be Instagram, it could be in person, it could be at Walmart, whatever. My point is this. Is it really that important to argue about things that's not going to help us survive? Let me give you an example. If I'm spending my time talking about how, let's say, I like the car, I like blue. Blue is my favorite color, one of the favorite colors, and I want to buy this expensive car, right? And I'm arguing with somebody about how valuable this car is, and I'm arguing with somebody about how important and how special this car is. But yet, I'm going to get this car, and this is the reason why I'm going to get this car. So I spend 2 hours, right, debating with somebody about how good this car is, how well it drives, how expensive it is, how much of a quality car it is, right? But at the same time, I can't pay my damn rent. So I'll sit there and spend 2 hours arguing with you about how good a car is that I probably gonna never have. You feel me? Because I mean, I'm gonna use myself as an example. We grew up in the struggle. We grew up poor. We grew up hungry. We grew up hustling, trying to like make a living, not the street hustling, but just surviving. We had food stamps for a while. A very short period of time, my mama wasn't down with it. I had to go to the store, take care, and make turn them food stamps in and whatnot. So at an early age, being humiliated really probably saved my life and my adult life. Let me just say that. Being humiliated and having things happen to me that did happen to me in my life, it made me a better person, Because I look at a lot of people that spend their time arguing about stuff that's not going to change the black community at all. It just baffles me. You worried about, okay, let's see. There's somebody on Facebook right now, okay, talking about, it's a group, say, Africans are not really African. Okay. I looked at the group. And somebody might have added me, but I took myself out. I ain't got time to be debating on foolishness like this. So they'll spend all this time debating on stuff that's not going to change the situation. That's why critical thinking is so important. Because if you want to be a better critical thinker, I'm not saying everybody can be a critical thinker, right? But you can develop critical thinking skills. You don't have to have them right this instant. What I'm telling you is, over a time period, I developed critical thinking skills, because if you are not educated in the European system and you're educated, you read books, you study, that's great. But for the black community right now, family, we have more pressing issues than to waste our time arguing about who is right or wrong on trivial things that's not going to affect our survival. I feel like in this country and around the globe, especially in this country right now, black folks is marked for destruction. So forgive me if I don't spend my time and energy debating things that's not going to affect my life now or next 10 years in my future. I'm just not going to do that. So I still have a lot of arguments with a lot of different people and a lot of different groups, because they wasting their time, in my opinion, in my professional or unprofessional opinion, however you want to call it. Because when I'm hungry, I need to eat. I'm not reading no damn book. I'm not spending my time debating stuff for 2 hours. If I ain't eating 8 hours, I'm not debating nobody for 2. But I see people doing these type of things, right? That's just figurative for those who don't get it. That's figurative. I see people wasting our time. If the black community as a whole could come together and deal with our survival issues first, we'll be a lot better off than debating who's light skinned, who's dark skinned, who's fat, who's skinny, how many kids somebody got, how many kids somebody don't have, how much money somebody don't have, how much money somebody do have. Let's discuss issues for our people. Can we do that? Can we not worry about what the Mexicans in them is doing as far as in your neighborhood? What are the black folks doing? If the Mexicans ain't bothering us, they're not affecting us in no kind of way. Why are we talking about that? I'm so focused on what we need to be doing. If I mention somebody else's group or whatever it might be, it's merely to show what we could be doing as a group, as our people. But my goal and my energy is not going to be allotted for long-winded debates about, forgive my French, bullshit. Because when you come out your mom's womb, you come out black. And your race, to me, supersedes anything you might believe in. I'm sorry. If you have no people, you have no future. That's just how I believe. And I talked to somebody the other day about that. I think it was somebody, I was talking to this Indian lady, right? Young Indian, so she's like from Philly. Wasn't an old school Indian, young Indian, she probably was about 32, right? And we had this talk about some of her white friends, right? She's talking about how they, how white people believe they're the number one dominant race, and they're the first people, and all this of the drama that people have been taught and really believe in. Let me just say something. Let me tell you something right now. I ain't got to be the smart person in the room, okay? But critical thinking tells me this about our people. If you believe in God, like most people I believe do, believe in God. Most people on this call believe in God, right? First point in really being a critical thinker, if God is God, right? And it's not a religious debate. If God is God, okay, and also we agree that God created everything, right? If we agree on that, this is critical thinking. I'm gonna show you something. God created the sun, the heavens above, right? So were the first people. They were most superior people on God's green earth. If this was true, I'm debating in the fact that if it was true, why in the hell would God create a sun that will burn the shit out of his people? Tell me why. Don't worry, I'll wait. Because it is an inferior product. I'm sorry. I didn't make this up. It's a recessive gene to be white. And I'm not saying that, it's not some good white people out there. I'm sure it is. But I'm just being logical about this whole thing. I'm just being realistic. So you got to have a basis of understanding of something first before you can sit there and argue with other people about trivial stuff. If you can't go out in the sun for 2-3 hours without getting sunburned, and you can see yourself the superior people, I got some land to sell you too. Beachfront property. It just don't make sense. So I'm talking about critical thinking. The lack of critical thinking with our people right now is killing us. And I say by 1,000 cuts because I use the example of the wolf. The wolf will nickel and dime and bite that bison, run it down, bleed it out, and kill it. That's the same thing happened to us today, family, in this country. We're getting bled out piece by piece. That's why I say death by 1,000 cuts. You know why? Let me tell you why. Because too many of our people are wasting our time debating dumbass stuff. This is why we're getting bled out. We can't even feed our families, but we want to debate about what the other group is over there doing for 2 hours. We want to debate about who we are as a people. Hell, we know we are who as a people. We are black people. You can say you're from Africa, you from any black nation you want. If you have melanin in your skin, to me, you come from Africa. Now, people say, I'm not African. Say whatever you want to say. I'm not going to debate people like that because I got better things to be doing with my time. You follow me? So what I'm saying to you tonight is that we must learn to wage figurative and mental war with ourselves first before we can even think about combating the people in the dominant society based on their system that they created for us to be willful slaves. Now, do you understand that? Because the truth is this. I'm watching, and it really bothers me. This is what bothers me, family. Let me just tell you what bothers me. Can I tell you? I'm going to tell you. I'm a realist. okay, and like to deal with the raw stuff first. That's just me. I don't want to spend my time debating things that ain't gonna change our situation. We can do. You can get 100 intelligent Negroes from college education, master's degree, the PhDs. Let's do PhD. Whatever, top of the line, most smartest educated Negroes on the planet. But if I'm in a battle that requires somebody with physical and tactical combative skill sets, I'm going to put and no weapons on either side. Hand-to-hand combat. I got one side of Negroes who are disciplined, combat ready, physically stronger than these nerds over here with PhDs debating, you know, the latest literature. Okay, I'm gonna send the troops who can get the job done. And I ain't gotta be the smart. I ain't gotta have a PhD. I ain't gotta be smart. These guys with high level IQs. But critical thinking would tell someone like Mr. Wolf here, me, that I need to use the most effective tool available. And being book smart, sounding smart, ain't gonna save your life. This is what I'm saying to you, family. You got to stop listening to people who ain't focused on survival. Just stop listening to them, because I just came from I don't know, was it last week or two, a survival training. Overnight, pit of darkness, no light, nothing. Had to go hike up 2 miles up, straight uphill. Didn't know that was going to be on my plate, but I finished it. Had to go after I get to the top of this damn hill in the middle of freaking mountain somewhere. I had to build my own shelter to sleep in that night. Okay? So I'm telling you something. I'm not taking no Negroes who think they PhD level smart about stuff that ain't going to save our life with me nowhere. You're going to waste my time. You might get me killed, people in my crew killed. So people need to find out who they really are inside and move with that shit. Forgive my French. I'm an action-based person, okay? I can talk, but I can do the walk too. If you're just a talker and you don't do no walking, then I ain't going to debate with you. Once I figure out what kind of person you are, I ain't going to debate with you too much about stuff that ain't going to make no difference for neither one of us. And when we have the black folks, we got so much pride, right? We want to win. We want to be good, and we want to be respected at something, right? So, like, for example, I put a post in online the other day. This brother was being framed, right, by this cop. He was being framed, he planted some meth in the man's car. Okay, he found an officer, roll up on him. He had a lawyer, so he was feeling like he was gonna take this policeman down, right? He came to the other policeman talking about him, cussing him out. And broad daylight, he had video camera from his friend, and the officer, I'm likely he did plant the dope on the man prior to that. The man was giving it to him in his face, broad daylight with the camera. You ain't this, you ain't that, officer. You going down. I ain't gonna arrest you. You gonna be up the street. Blah blah blah. I commented. I said, is this a smart move? Now, I'm not saying the brother wasn't right, but what I am saying is there's a tool for everything you do. There's a time and a place for everything you do. But the problem is we are so emotionally driven that people cannot check their own emotions. I've seen the biggest mistakes be made from people because they couldn't check their emotions. This is something we must do. I've checked my emotions so many times, family. I swear if I didn't do it, I'd be in prison right now. I swear to you. But I did it because my critical thinking process tells me this. If I do B, C is going to happen to me. If I do C, D is going to happen to my family. If I do D, I'm going to end up doing E, F, and G. And then I caught myself in a corner. Well, I can't make no further decisions for myself. Not a man's making all my decisions. That's critical thinking, family. Because I'm action-based. I run with action-based people. Because we need, in the community, we need action right now. Okay? We got a lot of talking, and talking we need too. But we need to have it back with some action. How many folks y'all know talked all kinds of smack in schoolhouse? They was going to beat everybody in the school. They was the toughest cat ever going. When somebody busted him in the mouth one time, all of a sudden, crickets. You see? That's why I don't talk to no smack I can't back up. Because there's always somebody can be better than you, always. And there's always somebody going to pull your card on something. That's why I'm talking about what I don't know. So We have to develop critical thinking skills, family. And let me tell you what critical thinking, the dictionary says critical thinking is this. Critical thinking is the ability to think clearly and rationally, understanding the logical connection between ideas. Critical thinking has been subject of much debate and thought since the time of early Greek philosophers such as Plato, Socrates, and has continued to be a subject of discussion into modern age, right? Now, this other definition says this. Let me see. It says, let me see, where is it? Let me miss my place. Here we go. Critical thinking is real to the point. Critical thinking is the objective analysis of facts to form a judgment. Done. Drop the mic. An objective analysis of facts to form a judgment. Now, why is that important? We got a lot of Negroes out here passing judgment on things that they could be right on, they could be wrong on, but it's not going to be effective in the changing of our history current as we speak today. Because I keep hearing people say, oh man, you know, the community is not going to change. We're going to be dead and gone, and it's going to change. Maybe for our grandkids it can change. I'm like, man, don't tell me that. I hear you. But here's my point. It don't have to take 60 years for us to get something done. If we find enough people to do something right now and move in the right direction as a unit, we can see change before we go down. Okay? And that's where I'm at right now. I don't want to wait and be a plant on the wall for my grandkids and say, oh, my grandfather did this. No, I don't want to wait for that. You know why? Because I'm a realist, right? And a realist is this. I look at things for what they are. Because I'm going to tell you something, family. If I thought, beyond a reasonable doubt, I couldn't help anybody, there wouldn't be nobody to listen to what we're talking about. There ain't nobody to move forward in this thing while we living today, not 10 years from now, not 20 years from now, right freaking me now. I wouldn't be doing this show. I wouldn't. Because I'm a realist. When it's over, I'm recognize it's over. And I'll be done. But I know it ain't over. What I have is it's like I'm watching a strong, mighty people fall apart, bow down, because they don't know who they are. And it's very, very stressful. It makes me very angry to see young warriors just doing dumb stuff. And no guidance from their parents who put them on this earth. And it's too many people out here who don't care about what's going to happen to our future. And it really bothers me. So it's hard being conscious among people who just decide to just let it ride. It is very difficult, family. I liken it to this. I liken it to a Bambi-type deer punking a tiger. If you had to watch a tiger bow down to a deer, a fawn, it's utterly disrespectful. And I watch on many levels. Corporate America, I've seen people you think you respect just bow down on just the most ridiculous things. It's so hard, family. It's so hard to be a warrior amongst peasants. It's so hard, and I know everybody on this call and go identify with me on this because I know people on the call. We warriors. We still fight. But going to the main matrix circle of people you may care about, people you may respect because of what they did in the corporate world or what they do in the political world. But in reality, it's a whole lot of people laying down, family, and they lay down because they don't know who they are, because they haven't spent the time to develop critical thinking skills. Their thought process stopped at probably, well, if I do this and keep my head down, I'll at least have this for my family. What they don't understand is when you're dead and gone, or when the agenda has been realized, widespread, it's going to be too late for you to fall back and try to get back with the pro-black people. It's going to be too late for that. So you got to really think about, family, the small decisions you make every day, day to day, because if you're not a critical thinker, there's always a trap laid for you that you ain't going to be able to see. I learned how to make this thing called a deadfall, right? It's a little trap to get animals. It's like put 3 sticks of wood. I had to chip it all out and whatnot. But a deadfall, because the brick or whatever heavy item crushes the animal in the head or in the body that takes for the bait, right? And I deadfall for our people, family. And the problem is we like little mice going to that little trap. But a conscious person, A true critical thinker can see ahead and see the traps. So I'm watching these traps be set up for our people. A couple of my comrades on this call, we watch the traps be set for our, and you talk to people about it, and it's just like they don't give a damn. It's like they don't give a damn. I feel like the majority of our people are choosing to be asleep. The majority of them are okay with letting it ride with what they have in society, as long as we're not getting, abused on a day-to-day basis. Maybe once, twice a week is okay. No, ain't no other race dealing with that. The Jews ain't dealing with that. The Arabs ain't dealing with that. Pakistanis ain't dealing with that. So why are we okay with it? Didn't our ancestors do enough, family, for 400 years in this country? Didn't they do enough? So they making it so easy for everybody to chip in this whole deal. Let me tell you something. The domestic people in the dominant society, they've made a system to where they can show you on the media how you can just kill black people and get away with it. So now, like, okay, we can just sit back now. Now they can do it. The Mexican man can kill us now. Now anybody who comes from a foreign country can do it now. Everybody with a lighter skin than us. You go ahead and kill black men. It's no problem. We won't arrest you. You won't do no real time. Go ahead. We just showed you how it's done. We showed you how you can do it. You're next now. You go ahead. We'll watch back and get popcorn while y'all do it now. You see? There's got to be a reckoning, family. I don't care what nobody say. People disagree. People afraid to say the truth. But I'm telling you right now, bloodshed is not something that nobody want to do. But I'm going to just be honest with you, family. If you look at the history of this country, history of all regimes, history of the world, it always comes down to a violent encounter to make change happen, to be lasting change. Because truth be told, men are predators. Let's say what it is. How many bullies in school stopped being a bully overnight because he just decided it wasn't a good thing to do? No, it ain't never happened that way. Somebody had to put him on his ass for him to decide, you know what, he has weaknesses too. He can be touched too. And I'm just telling you right now, you can say whatever you want, do whatever you want. We can go around this subject, but they don't respect but two things: money, which is economical empowerment, and bloodshed. And we could dance around the subject. Nobody want to say it. There it is. I just said it. So I'm like this: economic empowerment is our best shot, family, because I don't think people got stomach for the fight. And I understand. So if we got two options, second option of bloodshed don't look good for most people in the black community. But what about the first option, economical empowerment? Anybody want to use the money they got where they got money left? Because I'm telling you right now, I'm seeing more and more. I'm going to do some kind of tech training for people to do basic skill sets on computers and stuff. I see that happening because the things I'm getting hit on my desk with, I'm like, you know what, we need to do a little training or something because it's clearly some things people don't know. And I'm sorry to tell you, this world ain't going to wait for you to learn. They moving so fast, family. I could even tell you on this call, it'd be another 6-hour call to tell you the technology that's coming down the pipe, and you ain't ready for it. So I'm just wondering where you get your money from. So that's it, family, right there. Take some questions, comments. Press 1 on your phone, and you give me your insight. Critical thinking, because critical thinking focused on survival will save us. You got to war with yourself, family. People not warring with themselves. They just go along with it. It's easy to talk about somebody else's problems. It's easy to go ahead and talk about how the next people ain't doing what. It could be in your family. It could be your coworkers. It could be your neighbors. It could be the other races. Easy to do that. Talk about them pointing the finger. But what are you doing? Are you warring with yourself? Are you warring with yourself? Let me tell you something. Wolf war with himself every freaking day. I war with myself 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And those who know me know how I get down. I'm always studying. I'm always hustling. I'm always moving. And when I ain't moving and I ain't studying, I must be sick. And if I ain't sick, I'm dead. That's just how I roll. Because I know there's too much out here on the plate right now, so somebody got to get it. Somebody got to get it. I got some hands up now. Let's talk. Let me see here. I got, okay. 677. I think that's Brother Young. Brother Young, what's up? Talk to me. We talk back.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to say that in terms of the critical thinkers that we are hearing seeing most of the hits on YouTube, I think we need to add two individuals at least who are putting it out there, and one is Anthony Browder.
Yes,
and
sir.
another
Absolutely
is
right.
Dr. James Small. And what Dr. Browder talks about is mind recovery, and he does a lot of analyzation, right? And he talks about critical thinking. Mm-hmm. One of the things, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion because somebody's going to debate me on it, but I don't get into foolish debates.
Right.
One of the things is that we've been programmed over 400 years now, right, and even longer, mm-hmm. to think like our oppressor. And what's really funny is that if you look at it, 2 weeks ago, well, actually it was last week, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, she was at Castlemont High School, and she gave this analysis on how to survive, what we need to do as African Americans to survive Donald Trump. And for me, that was a no-brainer. But they had the director of the Urban League president, Mark Morial, and he told everyone, about the State of the Black America report. And I looked at that. And I also looked at it going back before the Barack Obama administration, and nothing has changed. So one of the things that we need to be very, very critical on is how we align ourselves to our political parties and our values, because at the end of the day, neither has ever benefited our people. And right. So unless you have economic power, you're not going to have political power. And I say this like this. There was a man by the name of A.G. Gadsden, and he was one of the first black multimillionaires. And during the Jim Crow era, he was living in a town, I believe, in Alabama, and the company that he worked for, they had a high mortality rate of African people, and none of them had burial insurance. So he started a burial insurance company. And when he made his first, I think it was $4,000, he went down to a bank, and he was going to buy a Cadillac. And I take this, it was a white man who told him, that's a waste of money. You ought to take that $4,000 and invest it in another business. So he invested that money, and he actually became rich. When Martin Luther King got put in jail in Birmingham, Alabama, I believe it was, and they didn't want him bailed out. Well, A.J. Gadsden was going to bail him out, but the people, his leaders and his lieutenants didn't want him bailed out because for some reason they wanted to prove a statement. And what A.J. Gadsden said was this: you cannot have black power until you have green power. So right. What I'm saying is that independent black power, not black wealth, right? Independent black wealth that's not going back into white corporations, white controlled banks, or anything like that. That's not going to build our wealth. Our wealth has to be looked at as independent, and we need to begin to start trusting one another. But until we start to deal with our symptoms of post-traumatic slave syndrome, because that's a part of it, we won't trust each other. We'll still trust somebody else to be our guides, to be our leaders, even our politicians. And I think it was Stokely Carmichael, formerly Stokely Carmichael, Kamani True, who said it best when he wrote his book, Black Politics and Black Power. I think that's something to behold. So when we look at critical thinking, we have to always examine where we are at today versus where we are at yesteryear. And if we can honestly say that we're better off today than we were before all our people died in the civil rights movement, then I think that leads us to, your brain dead. But if you can say, right. Come to the analysis that we're not, then you start critically, and then you start thinking outside of the traditional box of all the other things that we've been trying to do to gain a measure of power and equality.
I agree. Now stop right there. I want to inject something real quick. I agree with you 100%. Now, here's my my 2 cents on this deal. What you're saying along those same lines. There's some of us in nation. Let me mute you real quick because it's got an echo. Let me see. Okay, there's some of us in the community, okay, in America. I would say mainly America because we get the most problems mentally. Um, there's some of us who's able to fight the conditioning, and it's true what you said, absolutely true. The post-traumatic slave syndrome. Everybody should get that book with Dr. Joy DeGroot and read it. Don't put it on the shelf. You need to read it, cover to cover, like I did. Now, some of us were able to fight the conditioning, right? And some people who decide not to and not accept it or not look at research as a way to find to help change their situation, right? If this is our problem, some people working on their problems, some people not working on their problems to the level that they should be really getting something done because they haven't woke up yet. That's fine. I'm like, can we align ourselves, allies, make an alliance with our people, a collaborative event with our people, those who are awake right now, and really want to put some action in place? Because to me, being awake is not just knowing; it's also doing. Because truth be told, everybody can sit on in this phone call right now and say, "Well, I'm awake, I'm ready to go." But if you think white folks white supremacists that run this country, not just white folks, but the dominant people in the dominant society don't want you here in a given time to come out here and let in guise of a storm or natural disaster try to wipe you out in your area. If you really believe that, do you have any kind of survival kit set aside? Do you have anything set aside besides what you've been getting from the store every day? Do you have anything set aside for any kind of emergency situation? Do you have anything? No, if you don't, well, probably you don't believe that. Probably you don't really believe it. Because I know right now, if they gave you a deadline, tell you tomorrow or this time next week, we come to the black community and we're going to hit Antioch. We wiping everybody. We cutting the power off in the black community. We shutting down the water. I bet you 9/10 to $1 to a dime that people would go out to the store and raid Walmart and everywhere around try to get them something aside because they don't want to get there with their family and be struggling for stuff that they know they're going to need. They would do it. So my brother telling you like this, that this is our problem, but some of us are able to fight the conditioning and able to move forward in spite of that, like myself, like you did, like a few others did. I'm saying until when people wake up, if they have the time to wake up, we have a collective of people who are truly ready to make moves together as a group. And that I'm opening it back up. You got something to say on that, bro? All right, you unmuted. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. I heard what I just said, but yeah.
That's true. You have to have a plan for survival. And
that's right.
Believing that it's not going to happen or you're not the target is unrealistic. As a matter of fact, there was a man who already wrote about this back in the 70s, and he wrote a book. His name was, have you ever heard of Samuel Yett? Sam Yett was one of the first. Yeah, Y-E-T-T. Sam Yett was the first black news correspondent for Newsweek magazine. And shortly after the assassination of Martin Luther King, he began researching government archives and government documents, right, and all the things that were going on. And he actually found the plot and the plan to eliminate African Americans from America. And what they talked about, they uncovered like things like, genocide. They covered things like internment. And if you remember, those of us who are old enough to remember, when Nixon became president, there was a big, there was a lot of talk about, would they, could we be interned, right? So once this information came out, Sam Yett, he was fired from Newsweek magazine, but like he said, he had sense enough to know that it was coming, so we got him another job lined up. He had a lawyer and he had a publicist, and he fought his case for 5 years in the United States Supreme Court and ultimately lost. Nevertheless, one of his books still stands as a blueprint of which we can, look at today, and it's called The Choice. And what I say is this: yes, it's real, and it can, and it is going to happen. Because one of the things that I've looked at in my work as an organizer, I've had a chance to meet with brothers from Chicago, Ohio, New York, Detroit, places like that. And you know what? It is all the same. Gentrification is not just here in the Bay Area, but it is all the same. And they're wherever you go in these major metropolises and cities, most black people are being priced out. They're being moved out into isolated areas. Those that aren't moving out, they're choosing to go back to other areas that are isolated. Right. So you just think about
with
that,
no resources.
With no resources.
See?
None whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. I tell them all the time, bro. I said, listen, it's not a game, and maybe I'm in touch with more people than most people. Like, I talk to a lot of people just based on what I do for a living. I'm in touch with everybody in different parts of the country, and I talk to blacks everywhere, like you just said. It's not. People think it's just in the Bay Area. They fooling themselves. This is an economical plan, but it's a military action at the same time. If they look at Flint is a prime example. They have not fixed everybody's pipes as of yet. Okay, so if they're talking about there's a plan out there that talks about they really want to reduce the population of the world, right? You think they're gonna start with black folks first in America? I know it's rough to maybe believe, but black folk in America are the most well-off people, as economically well-off in the world for black people. We're doing better people in Africa, in Jamaica, anywhere black folks live on the planet. The American black people here are doing better. And when I say doing better, I mean we have more economical power than they do over there as a whole. So it's just sad to see that people don't get it. You better have saved something for a rainy day, because it's not going to tell you when it's going to happen, and they're just gearing up. We don't know when they're going to throw the switch, but they plan to throw the switch. And if you ain't halfway decently ready, that's why me and a couple of mine, we get some training, because if I get lost without anything, roof over my head, a warm shelter, whatever, I can build one now. You see, I've learned some skills that I need to take me to the next level, and I'm gonna keep learning skills, and I always run and always bang on that. But I got a couple more calls. Appreciate you, bro. And let's see here. I'm brother right here, 5769. Put it in sick bay. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Hey, man. Appreciate the show,
doing,
man. Always encouraged. I'm good, man. I was really listening to what you guys are talking about, and that brother was very correct. And it's really sad, because when you stop and think about where our race is when we first got so-called freed from slavery, the amount of wealth that we had was small, obviously, and the accomplishments that we made throughout the years, if you weigh that out with where we're at today, it's the same percent. So in other words, if we got ourselves together in the past after slavery, let's say 50 years later down the line, and let's say we have 11% wealth now, why in the hell are we still at that 11% wealth? I think it's less than that, but I'm just painting
actually,
we
represent 0.5% wealth, according to Dr. Claude Anderson.
And it's
since slavery,
right,
54 years later.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at the same percentage now. So that tells you that, obviously, and all of us on the side are adults, the game is rigged. The game is rigged. It's not for us. Never will be for us. And it's not our fault, per se. I don't believe it's our fault because, let's just say the whites did a lot of critical thinking, unfortunately, and they jumped the gun on us. You know, they were able to obtain this land. They were able to divvy out this land amongst themselves. As a matter of fact, people like George Washington, if you do the history on them, based on the amount of slaves they had, they can get, hundreds of acres. If they had, I forget, it was like 50 or 60 more slaves, they can get 300 or 400 more acres of land. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, we're dealing with a race that set themselves up comfortably, did everything right, used us to get there. Whether they want to admit it or not, they're wealthy because they got wealthy off of our labor. So they did a lot of critical thinking. And then they kind of just threw us out in the street and say, you're free now. Go ahead and do your thing. It's all good. Well, we couldn't get jobs. There were so many laws put place in order because they did their critical thinking. Now, imagine if we, as a whole, like you've been saying, let's just say, for instance, all of us thought like you. Just and the other brother and CJ and Marshall, all of us, let's say all of us thought like you. Just on the one subject of how we deal with when we're shot. If we all could just critically think together like every single other race does automatically and fall in line, we are a scary race to deal with. And I can actually say, not that of course I don't agree with it, I see why they fear us, because they know what we're about and our potential. So I really appreciate this show, because if we all critically think like you're saying and put all the BS aside, all the distractions aside, well, I'm gay, or I'm a critical thinker, but what about, I'm a Muslim from wherever, it's just throw all that other stuff aside. What about women's rights? If we all just could just calm down and fall in line, we would be okay. That is the problem with black people, and a lot of it has to do with what you and the brother was talking about, as far as we've been brainwashed, this Jim Crow law, all this, we've been conditioned, and it's sad, man. It's sad. As an artist, I experienced it on a small level. I remember I used to wonder why people would not even take the time to listen to a free song that I did, free stuff free, my people. And this was like a decade ago. And now I realize this all had to do with people being haters, and they see a one of their own doing better, and for some strange reason they don't like that, so they either ignore you or try to sabotage you. So it's sad, the condition we're in, but it does not mean that we are stuck this way. It does not mean that we need some type of mental healing. We do need some type of acknowledgement of what we've been through as a people, our ancestors. I tell my wife all the time, I'm damaged. I'm damaged because of the more I've educated myself on what has happened to my people here, it damages me. When I went to Africa, like I was telling you, Sean, I'm just gonna keep it real. When I went to Africa and I saw white people there chilling, talking about what they're gonna do the next day, I remember sitting at another table. I like to flip out my seat. My wife didn't understand. She's like, what are you mad about? I said, man, I don't want to see these people over here, And she comes from a country that has not been colonized. So she's black, but she can't fully relate to her grandmother, or thinking about her great-great-grandmother and great-grandfather being raped, her grandfather being pulled apart by horses. Maybe he was the strongest guy there, so they had to prove a lesson on him. So I'm going to stop after that, but it's just, I really appreciate where you're going with this, and I hope to God that everybody on this line can just be in one train of lines. We need to be in one thought on this, Opinions are great to have, but if the end result is that we don't accomplish nothing, what good is your opinion?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
I'm glad. See, you listening. That's my point.
Yeah.
We cannot waste our win to debate. There's somebody right now, a couple people on the call maybe know him. I don't talk to that dude no more. I don't, because he wasted my time. It's like, dude, you want to argue 3 hours on this right here, for real? He still hits me up sometimes. I'm like, I don't have time for that, bro.
I know you're talking about.
I don't have time to debate dumbass stuff. We got more pressing issues to do. And CJ be on the time, my man, he say, Wolf, you be cutthroat sometimes. I'm cutthroat about certain things, okay? I'm very affectionate. I'm very loving to people. I'm very patient. But just don't bring no BS to me, because I don't have no time for that. We are dying out here, and I'm not going to debate, why that color's green over there. I don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah.
I'm watching people make moves that we should have made a long time ago. And like I said, my debate with my people is this. My debate is, if I thought it was over for us, we had no recourse whatsoever. We was broke. We all in the street. We all hungry. We got no food, no money. I said, you know what? Perhaps it's over. I need to do something different. But no, black folks, it might be reduced. Black folks still working. They're still getting a paycheck. They're still coming home. They still got a roof over their head. It's not everywhere in the country is on fire. No, that ain't happened yet. But when that happens, then the show, this will be our last show. Okay? But right now, we have a shot. And to your point, and to my brother Darius' point, is that I know we conditioned to hate each other and to fight each other. I know that. But I know also some folks have awakened and some folks willing to fight. I'm saying, if you want to win a fight with the biggest bully on the block, like the Wolf Pack does, the Wolf don't go. The Wolf is intelligent. Ain't the strongest, ain't the biggest. They're intelligent, and they got a stamina. They will not take a bison out by themselves. They will hold him and drag on his ass until a pack gets in. They're going to take him down after they wore him down. And that's how you win. And what happens when the bison go down? Everybody in the Wolf Pack eats. I'm about everybody eating on the team. But the Wolf Pack don't feed the wolf pack over there adjacent to them who fight for territory. No, wolf pack don't feed the enemy wolf pack. You follow? I'm trying to say something to some people right now. Some of us gonna get it. The wolf pack don't feed every other pack. It feeds its own pack. You identify what pack you belong to by your action and by your intellect. You want to be on that pack, wolf pack team? That's cool. Have at it. Don't cross this line around here and you good. The point I'm trying to make is this. I had to take this thing, I had to realize this. I realized I was trying to save the world, like Kumbaya the whale, save everybody. I realized that ain't going to happen. So I had to fall back. Marsh always on me and say, Wolf, you got to slow down. You're killing yourself. Everybody ain't going to be down. Everybody going to be down. I get it. I get it now. And I just fall back and conserve my energy for people who with it. And to my brother Darius' point, the people who are conditioned so heavily that they don't want to wake up, they don't want to fight for what they do, we got to let them alone for a while. We got to build strength with those who think like us, like minds first. Perhaps, when we get something established that they can see and appreciate, maybe they'll come back with a little bit more respect next time around. And then we'll pick them up and train them to where they're going to be. But that they don't happen, we can't lose sleep on it. We got to move forward. Because if you care about your own family, it's a day coming, family, that we got to do. We got to do. And the more you do now, I feel, the better of a shot we got later on. The more you do now, you got a better shot later on. The less you do now, your numbers go down. I read a book, Ragnar. It's called Urban Survival. He said that in the event of a civil war 2.0, that's what he said. With a crisis where we can't get food and water in the communities, in the neighborhoods, he said those who live in an apartment with no resources, no team, he said they have about a 5% chance of survival. This is from a man who goes in and this is for a living. He said people who live in apartments in the inner city with no skills, no resources, he said they got about 5% chance of surviving a civil war in the country. This is what the man said. I read his book, and he's on the radio set. I said, damn, 5%? I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to go on a 5% chance. That ain't nothing. So I've had to fall back, family, and I decided that, you know what, those who want to be down with what we're talking about, I'm looking for you. The daytime with a flashlight. Those who don't want to be down with that, that's cool too. Good luck to you. Because I'm telling you right now, no man or no woman is an island. If you don't have a solidified, qualified, pre-qualified team, chances you make it is second to none, bro. And I'm going to just say it like that. I'm going to say it like that. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
When the wolf come off the air, you know it's over. I'm going to put it like that. When I come off the air,
man. Well,
it's
when you come off the air, there's going to be certain people right there with you, man. We're going to be all off the air.
I'm a broadcast till the wheels fall off, bro. But when I sign off for the last time, you best believe you got, I say and teach you that your sweet ass is over. Okay?
Yeah, but I just wanted to check in with you real quick. I want to free the line up for somebody else, man. But very, very good show, man.
Okay, appreciate you, bro. Right. Keep it up. All right. I got 2697. Let's see. Come on, my brother. 2697.
What's going on, man?
What's going on, man?
Here you go again. Look, you hit the nail on the head, man, with this critical thinking. I got a lot of stuff. Well, I'm gonna keep it brief, though. I got a few things I need to talk about. You got 30 minutes, bro. Nobody have 30 minutes. Take your time. Exactly. Okay. So, basically, I've been thinking about that. What you were saying. You know, what are people talking about? What are black folks talking about? You know, and I never really thought about it like that. I mean, they're on Facebook, they're on all these
social media
Instagram,
platforms.
all this stuff, and they are dealing with whatever everybody else is posting. That's what they're dealing with. It's like, where are you? What are you talking about? What are you talking about that's positive? Are you talking about something that's helping somebody, or is going to hurt somebody? I mean, this thing what you're talking about, like, let's start off with the survival class. First of all, you know, this class was, I learned so much from this class. This overnight class, boy, it was so dark out there. But I mean, you know, you get stuck, you get caught up, you get, you know, there's a emergency, there's a earthquake or whatever it is, something Trump is doing. You know, you need to know how to make a fire. You need to know how to make a shelter for yourself. You know, we were doing stuff that I never even thought about. We were making ropes out of a plant. We were making strong ropes out of a plant. I just can't even fathom that.
Hey,
know,
CJ,
how to carry.
Tell them how dark really dark is. Tell them explain to them what dark really looks like. They think dark is out here with the street lights and all that. Tell them what dark really looks like.
Really, really, really dark. When you put your hand is like 2 inches from the front of your eyes, and you can't see it. That's when you're in the dark. That's when you're in the dark, and you hear them little sounds. What is that? You know,
crumbling tree branches, stuff walking out there, things walking around. Man, please, black folks out here, they don't know. They don't know.
You know what I'm saying? And then, I mean, there's a few other things, man, that we could be talking about that are something that will help us. You know, like, I mean, this thing with Colin Kaepernick, you know, this thing, I mean, he's standing up for what's right, man. I mean, we should be doing things. We should be talking about things about boycotting. I love football. I'm finna boycott football. I'm not finna wear near Raider hat. I'm not finna watch near game. I'm not.
Wow.
I'm not. You know what I mean? And I'm a person, I love football. You know? And then there's things like, let's talk about stuff like this stereotype girls trip movie. You know? I'm trying to, because me and you, I went and seen it, and I was objective, man. And here's the thing. The movie, honestly, in my heart, the movie was funny. But it was some stuff that I laughed at that I really shouldn't have been laughing at, you know? And then I start thinking about the movie. I start thinking about all them white people who was watching it in the movie theater with me and all them other different people that was in there and how they feel. Okay, so here's the question. You know, after nothing but, you know, these black women were representing, what was it, Queen Latifah, and
Jada Pinkett,
what's her name?
And Jada Pinkett and that woman, Haddish.
Well, I'm saying these women were representative of black people. I mean, they were, of black women. And they weren't doing nothing but cussing, foul mouth, talking about getting screwed, getting pregnant by some rich person, how to suck penises, how to beat somebody up, then saying stuff that's not true, talking about how you can't catch nothing in your rectum and no disease in your rectum. I mean, and this is what, you know, and then some people are saying, oh, but it was a black movie, and that doesn't make it a good thing. Just because it's a black movie and you dancing around like a puppet, you're doing exactly what Whitey wants you to do, you know, making a fool of yourself, and they're laughing at you. So ask yourself this question. So the white people that are watching this movie, there's some white people who don't have any interaction with black people other than seeing them at the gas station,
they work for
seeing them walking down the street. You know, they don't have any interaction with you. All they know is what they see on the movie and on TV. And so, what do you think a person? I met a little white girl that never met a black guy before. It was in Wichita, Kansas. What do you think these white people feel about you when all they know, the only representation that they have is, say, like this one movie, Girls Trip. That's what they have. There's one representation. What do you think they feel about you?
Look, based on that movie, would you let your white son date a black woman based on that movie?
Man, I can't. How can I?
They would say no.
You
Hell
know,
no.
I can't. If I'm white and I got my white son, I'm not finna let him. Look, he can't even go and screw one. You know, just on the side. You can't. No, I don't want you having nothing to do with those kind of women. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't want them coming to my house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's true.
And I don't know, man. We need to be.
I'm gonna say. Let me say this too. I was gonna make a show about this too. Let me just say this while you brought that up. Because there's some black women, and somebody's gonna have the comment, the rebuttal, saying that, well, you know, there's some negative stereotype about black men that they put movies and it's okay for everybody to watch those, huh? Why not this one? Let me just say something to y'all, family. We put our women above ourselves because the truth is,
exactly,
the woman is the basis for the family. Okay, if you didn't grow up with a mom and you a dude, chances good you hard on women to the point where you don't know how to treat women, you respect and whatnot, because the mom creates the loving and balanced environment for the young men and young women. Mothers are like they're the core of the family. So this is our core of the family, showing us how to be just the worst they could be. It's like men always done crazy stuff for whatever reason. We're wired different. But our mom is one to set the standard for everybody to follow. And that's why I say this.
Exactly.
It may not be right, but this what it is. What it is. And to see women like that, it bothered me, because if I had a daughter, I ain't let my daughter go see that movie. Hell no. You see when you're out of my house, you're paying your own bills. You ain't gonna watch the movie under my roof. You ain't. No, you're not.
Yeah. And it's just, the whole thing is with that movie. I mean, me and you wouldn't go see it, right? But I had to go see it just because of the trying to be objective about it, trying to give the benefit of the doubt. And I seen exactly what I thought I was going to see. There was nothing. And then here's the biggest point about that movie. So they had a white woman in there. She was somebody's manager or something. And so
she was managing Regina Hall, the rich one.
They had this drink that somebody bought off the street, right? This drink that make you act stupid and see things, some kind of, crazy drink, right? And so the white woman took it too, right? But it sure was strange how the black women, I mean, they did everything. They were grabbing on the statues, trying to screw them, doing retarded stuff. And the white woman, she pretty much, she pretty much held her composure. She did one thing. I think she drank some wax or something, but she pretty much held her composure. And the black women were doing everything under the sun. I'm talking about bending over backwards, just doing stupid stuff, and it was just a sad representation for black women, and that's what I think about that movie. But anyway, that's enough about that one. I'm sure that maybe that might make somebody want to call in. You have your comment, call in with your comment. The last thing I wanted to say was about getting back to that survival, and not just the class, but just being ready. And like you said, man, our people, man, we not ready. We're not ready. I mean, I got like 3 different survival. I got rope, matches, food, water, light, radio, gloves, bandages. Something's coming down the pipe. I know it is. And I'm trying to be ready. I'm trying to be ready, man. And I feel sorry for somebody who's not trying to do. You got to do something, man. Open your eyes and get yourself together, man. This thing, don't you see what Trump is trying to do? This man is a idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's true.
Log on to patreon.com.
It's true. That's it, bro?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, my brother, appreciate you. And along the line of my brother just said, he's talking about critical thinking. Queen Latifah, love her, respect her. Jada Pinkett Smith, love her, respect her. Regina Hall, love her, respect her. This new chick, Tiffany Haddish, or whatever her name is, I don't know too much about her. It's her debut big movie, and she was the ghetto girl out of the group. And I'm gonna tell you something. Out of them 4 profiles, I'm seeing way too much. I see the Miss Haddish part, the ghetto girl busting by to cut the dude and all that. And I know it's all about love, but listen here, ghetto people come a dime a dozen. And this white folk watching the movie like that's really how we are. And we watching like, who the hell are these chicks? People I roll with ain't like that. But the point is, are they that hard up for money to make a movie? They're going to demean yourself like that? I posted something in the group the other day about Wesley Snipes. They said you should do another New Jack City. He said, nah, bruh. It's enough movies out there about negative stereotypes about black folk. I just didn't want to be a part of that again. That was cool. We did at that time, but I wasn't feeling a part 2. I respect him for that. And he needed money. Clearly, he just come out of that tax evasion situation 3 years in. He wasn't about to make that movie. And I respect him for that. Even him said it on TV. Whether he do it or not, for him to say that part right there, it gives somebody pause to think about our actions. That's what I talk about critical thinking, family. Because you're a multi-millionaire celebrity. You didn't have to make that movie. You could have said, look, I never forget, family, that Denzel Washington said he called Sidney Poitier about a movie he's getting ready to do. He said, Sidney Poitier said, I'm just tell you this right now. You do what you want. But the movies you choose to make gonna make or break your career and define you for who you are on the big screen. And for that, he turned down a lot of movies he said that where he wasn't really feeling it. And I respect him for that. That's why Denzel has the reputation he has, because he made certain movies because, believe it or not, whether we want to respect it or not, our people look at the big screen celebrities as gospel truth and leadership for our communities. They just do. They follow them because they got money and fame and clout. Everybody want to aspire to be those people. Like I told people, a lot of people, I said, listen, you take one celebrity, any one of them, besides maybe a Jay-Z and Beyonce, but for the average celebrity, the average rap star, the average movie star, the average ones, you take the entire black community as a nation, we got more wealth than that person got. What if we put our money together? Pressure bust pipes, babe. Pressure bust pipes. And we apply the pressure in the right place, we'll get what we want. But that you got to go through a lot of red tape with our own people, fighting some, arguing with some. You know, we can alleviate all of that stuff right there. It's like an interview process. To go get this job, they know what they're looking for. If it's you or it's not you, they know that already. When you hit the floor and you talk to them in an interview, they know if they want to hire you or not. We got to be the same way with our own people. I hate to say it. We start at home first. Clean out first at home first. Then we can attack and affect change around the nation. But if you can't clean out home is your local community. Those you rub shoulders with every day, every week, once a month, whatever it is. Those in your local touching range. You form there. You mobilize those with the right mindset there. You can agree with everything somebody got to say, but you got to have a thought process that works together as a unit. If you ain't got that, what you doing with your time? I'm not about joining agendas with everybody else's groups as far as other races and stuff. I'm not doing all of that. And they doing them, but I know in the end, I've done this too many times. In the end result, people fall back on culture. So because ours was damaged, we fall back on disrespectful stuff. You follow me? So we got to reinstitute our culture and our family structure. If we don't do that, what are we doing? We just rolling our dice. And I don't like rolling without an edge. So that's where we at, family. So, yeah, critical thinking is a big deal for our community. We need more folks doing critical thinking because people making snap decisions too fast to the point where they make a decision here and there. They wake up like, what did I do? You didn't really sit there and meditate on that and have a critical thinking session with yourself. And that's key, family. Going forward, listen to me. You can win the lotto. You can inherit money. None of that stuff makes any difference if your mind's not firmly established on your body with critical thinking in mind, being sharp, being smart to know, to get mentorship from somebody who does know. If you're not smart to do that, family, I will promise you, you will not acquire any type of wealth for your history of your family and your legacy. It takes calculation, critical thinking, and the right mentorship and discipline to do those things. And if you're not on that level, you probably shouldn't start out and build a family with somebody because you got to be knowing who you are first. Okay? My family was so messed up coming up. I knew I had to fix myself before I tried to help anybody do their thing. So I spent the time to work on myself. And I encourage everybody to do that. Spend the time to work on yourself first because you cannot empower or help anybody else if you're the one who needs the life preserver. Save yourself. I'm like, if you to the point where you can't tell yourself and really know who you are, I'm saying you shouldn't date. I'm just one person, but you shouldn't date. Fix yourself first, because you can't empower anybody that you don't have will empower yourself first. With that, family, it's been a great show. Shout out to everybody. You follow us on Facebook, the Bay Area Black Community. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. The YouTube channel is the Bay Area Black Community. Follow us on Twitter at Bay Area Black. If you want to contact us, www.bayareablack.org. You want to invest in our future, hit the donate button. Donate to your heart's desire. You want to contact us, leave a suggestion. It's all on the website. And click on the Contact Us page. And click on the suggestion page. You can do that too. And we get the email and we follow up as we can. So, family, good night. And like I said before, we need to separate.
Separate when you notice it's something great. Hate to hate, but I'm shaking up all the fake. About the power for our kids. We gotta save it so they can easily live. Least so my people ain't treated equal. Tired of sequels. Stories bore me. Lies kill glory. Black so beautiful. Matter before me. Before extinction, we won't be preaching. We can't be marching. And that shit go in the coffin. Black fist, black thoughts. Whites want us cut off. Right now, get rid of coons, in the room. Don't assume we clear in here, front to rear. Ain't no luck, that tool truck, we know war. Life on line, we gotta fight from the core. Outnumber, we pull back, but come around and flank you. Race soldiers don't thank you, gotta think like they do. Blaze trails we walk through, work together, don't disagree. One mind, black carpool, running over them enemies. I'ma tell you what need to be. You gon' see what you wanna see. We gon' do what we gotta do. As long as we live after you. Well past my children too. Yeah. Man, don't fight back. Talk about it, you like that. Separate when you know it's just something great. Yeah, I hate, but I'm shaking the part of faith. About the power for our kids. You gotta save it so they can easily live. Separate when you know it's just something great. Hate to hate, but I'm shaking the part of faith. About the power for our kids. You gotta save it so they can easily live. Losing hours, power tastes sour, taste black power, chasing a coward. Economy is weak, we reach in a peak. You know, talking sheep, but what's the killer sheep? Don't be that little fleet. We better get our kids ready for them sharp teeth. Eye for an eye, really need to be applied. Nigga try to get by. I'd rather grab my chopper. Racism created by them whites. They stole land, it's all about their plight. And raping all our women, yeah, we really see they tight. And got the damn nerve, try to tell me wrong from right. Okay. Did that, sit back, we laugh at, it's big fat. Bow down to no one. Black king, no dream, young queen. History is like that. Mine to never hold back. Money in the bank. Together we will pull rank. Fire politicians. Money make a bitch move. Think about the mission. My kids gotta see it, but we gotta achieve it. No longer being cheated. You wish we would delete what we've been through. I don't see a reason we should see you. Birth of a nation, identification, celebration, education. Learn about our past. Flash, get a set, hit a check on a reject. Then act like he perfect. It's a clown circus. My people have a purpose. We cannot be purchased. Not be purchased. Separate when you know it's just something great. Hate to hate, but I'm shaking the part of faith. About the power for our kids. You gotta save it so they can easily live.
Well, you can go away, man, leave you a Negro. Where is your history? We are not about to turn around. Yes, sir.
We have to defend ourselves. We intend to defend ourselves. We did so in the past. We're going to do it today, and the day after that, and the day after that. We've seen the terrible results of violence in this country. We want freedom. We want the power to determine the destiny of our black community. The freedom and killing of our children and young people will not be deferred. We want full employment for our people. There are millions of decent Americans who are willing to sacrifice for change.